All right. Okay. I think I'm about ready to go. Let me see here. Hope everyone's doing well post-Christmas. Let me see. What am I doing here? You would not believe the stack of books I have around my desk right now. As I'm letting the music roll so I can get things set up, kind of recap from past shows. Let's see. Switch up the music track here. Here we go. That'll get the heart pumping. Yes. There we go. How's everybody doing out there tonight? All right, got things set here. I am ready to go. I'm just letting the music play on a bit. And it is amusing to watch the levels on my computer's performance monitor as I show how much of my CPU is being utilized. Anytime the music drops, that's when CPU utilization hits 100%. That just tells me I need a beefier, stronger computer, but that is in the future. Oh. Yes, here we go. I'm going to do this right here. Here we go. Yeah. All right. It's about as good a time as any to get going here. After having done so many of these shows in the past, I realized I was doing a pretty good series on nostalgia. Like everything in the past that I've enjoyed as a kid growing up, whether it's movies, TV shows, things that make me nostalgic for a past time. I just realized that after a while, I was doing one like every few weeks. Let me bring the music down a bit here. There we go. Every so often, I find myself just going back to the past, because we always look back at our past, our childhood, with rose-colored glasses, thinking, oh man, those were good times gone by. And for me, I've actually done a couple of live streams on the nostalgia of the comic books of my youth. I'm going to go ahead and kill the music here, or just fade it out there. There we go. Yeah, I've been going on pretty well here. I'm going to turn on my desk cam here. Let's see. There we go. There we go, right there. So when I was talking about comic books of my youth, all the comic books I grew up reading and enjoying, I thought, why not do a little recap of all the ones I was bagging in past streams. kind of show you some of the ones that I really enjoyed. Ones that I've read cover to cover over and over again. These Walt Disney, what are these? Old Whitman and Gold Key Walt Disney. These were a hoot. Bugs Bunny, Tom and Jerry. You can tell, even though I've got them in Mylar sleeves, you can tell the state of the books. They are well read. I was a kid back then and I didn't care about keeping them in good shape. I was just reading them cover to cover, thoroughly enjoying them. Got a Yosemite Sam and Bugs Bunny right there. Yeah, these have seen better days. But I'm going to set these aside. Yeah, I've got a goodly stack. I was going through all the ones I was enjoying as a kid and rebagging and boarding them with Mylar bags and the spiffy acid-free boards and whatnot, trying to archive them. Let me see. Go right in there. There it is. Oops. Got to reposition my microphone here. There we go. So anybody out there lurking, thank you all for checking it out. This is just a show where I talk about things that make me nostalgic. Like I was saying earlier, I was just having a blast going through all the books I read when I was a kid. There's a Flash Gordon one. Buck Rogers in the 25th century. All these old Whitman books were a hoot. Space Family Robinson, Lost in Space, Lost in Space, Lost in Space. Now, the neat thing is that no matter how old and ratty a comic book is, a nice Mylar sleeve will make it look better. So I'm going to set these aside because I've got a whole new batch that I'm going to share with you all and continue bagging and chatting. I'm going to set those aside. These were from a previous live stream. This the oldest X-Men comic book I own. Got some. Actually, this is an old Godzilla, King of the Monsters with the Fantastic Four. Number 20. This one I bagged earlier but did not tape it shut yet. This is Battle of the Planets. Old Whitman. I am kind of cheating a bit here because these aren't particularly old. I've kind of gone from the 60s and 70s book-wise to 80s and 90s. What is this? The Thing and Giant Man. The thing about old books is the cover price. I mean, it is amazing that one time we were paying 40 cents, 35 cents. Then they jumped up to 250, so on and so on. Oh, this one is of course much newer. I wanted to show this off because this is one of the best looking covers I've ever seen on a comic book. This is Top Cow, Battle of the Planets. I want to say #1. And yes, it is a foil, shiny foil cover. And it is just a beautiful cover. Like I said, it's one of the best looking covers I've ever seen on a comic book. Image, Top Cow Comics. Beautiful cover. And right back in the Mylar it goes. There we go. And then previous live streams, I was going over some very strange one-offs. These are like the kind of things you get with giveaways, or you'd even find them in your Sunday newspaper. Marvel Comics Group, or they would be sponsored by general store like Foley's, like this one is. Spider-Man and Power Pack, Spider-Man and the Incredible Hulk, Foley's. The Amazing Spider-Man exclusive collector's edition, Spider-Man Battles the Green Goblin. Then lastly, I have an old issue of Howard the Duck that I have no idea where I got this from, but it was kind of goofy. All right. So I've got these. I'm going to set them aside. That was kind of like a quick recap of all the books from the past live streams. Now, I've got a bunch of old oddball comics. Here we go. These are all the ones I picked up as a kid. I have absolutely no idea where I got them, when I got them exactly. I just know as a kid, I was reading through these, thoroughly enjoying them. And you can probably tell, oh, yeah, look at that. This particular book has seen better days. But when you're a kid reading comic books, you just don't care. You go through it, you read it cover to cover numerous times. And here I am, flipping through this particular book, thinking back to when I was a kid reading this for the first time, the second time, the third time, 20th time. Godzilla, King of the Monsters. We got Godzilla, we got a robot head laying on the ground there. This goes back to 1978. Volume 1, number 14, 1978. It's in pretty bad shape. Just had to move a stack of bags and boards closer to me so I can grab them. And just like that, the cover looks instantly better. There's just something about putting them in a Mylar that makes everything look better. And I'm going to set that to the side. Now, this was a trip. This was long before I ever got into Marvel superheroes long before I knew any of these characters like Thor, Iron Man, Vision. I was reading this book because it was Godzilla and it just happened to have comic book superheroes in it or Marvel superheroes in it. This is actually pretty funny. Oop. That looks like, if I can bring that closer to the camera, get it in focus, it looks like J. Jonah Jameson leaning out the window, shouting at Godzilla. So yeah, Godzilla's wreaking havoc. J. Jonah Jameson is not having any of it. And that has come out. Look at that. All right, at this point, I know these comics are in bad shape. This is more about preserving old books and memories than anything else. These were in really old poly bags. And the more I looked through these, I was looking through these earlier today, flipping through them, thinking I just need to go ahead and get them sorted. I was collecting a little bit of everything way back in the day. Unexpected, Tales of the Unexpected, Miscellaneous Joker, Tomb of Dracula, number 70. This was 1979. A Flash Gordon here. Number 30, Whitman Comics. I actually cannot see the date. 1980. All right, this Flash Gordon was 1980. This was about the same period of time I was collecting old Gold Key, Solar, Man of the Atoms. I enjoyed those older books. The older Gold Key, Solar, Man of the Atom, Magnus, Robot Fighter. I've got a number of these older Flash Gordons. All right. And it goes because I'm rushing through these, getting to the runs and near complete runs of books I was really enjoying way back in the day. A Joker versus Green Arrow. This was 1973. How about that? And it has definitely seen better days. And in a bag it goes. And DC at one time was doing some suspense and horror type books. That's what these guys are. These are, what is this? 1981, January 1981. Tales of the Unexpected, old DC, number 221 and 206. Oh, in the chat I see popping in. Hello, Killer Rabbit. Greetings and happy almost New Year. Yes, we're getting closer. We are getting closer and closer. Yeah, probably for the better. Let's hope 2024 is better than 2023. All right. So I don't know how much of this you caught, Killer Rabbit. This is another nostalgia stream. Once again, going back to comic books of my youth. I'm going to be bagging and chatting. Taking a lot of my old books that I've had in poly bags for multiple decades and putting them in brand spanking new Mylar bags that I got for Christmas. All right. Now on to the. Let's see what we have here. Yes. Yes. All right. Ah, this is not a complete run. This is like very old ROM Space Knight. Marvel. I know I've got the first issue of this. I just don't know where it is. 1979, ROM Space Knight #2. Again, something I read cover to cover. Let's see. 2, 3, 4. Think, yeah, massive jump from issue 4 to 31, then 42. Yeah, when I was a kid, I never really collected consistently. There is King Size Annual #1, Annual #2, Annual #3. So yeah, time for new bags and boards for these guys. Killer Rabbit says, "Me, I have the complete series of the Adventures of Indiana Jones. That's pretty cool." Yep. Yeah, I was reading a little bit of everything in the 70s and 80s. Like I said, I never really got consistent runs because I would get a comic book anytime my mom went to the grocery store. So it could be a few here, a few there, so on, so on. So I'm just going to put a small stack right there. These, of course, when you're a kid, you don't care about condition. You just want to enjoy them. You want to read them cover to cover. You threw them around your room. You enjoyed them. You didn't particularly care if they stayed in great shape or not. But for me, my friends at the time, they were all into the superhero books. I was into the older monster books like Godzilla. I was into, of course, ROM Space Knight, Atari Force. I remember Transformers, Shogun Warriors. And then after that, I started seeing all these other characters show up in all these other books like Shogun Warriors, Godzilla, the comic books I was looking at a few minutes ago. They had some of the Marvel superheroes in them. And it's like, okay, well, what's the deal with these other characters? Are they big or something? It's like, ROM Space Knight. So I started going from the sci-fi oriented books to the superhero books. There we go there. Okay. Setting that aside. Trying to clear a spot around my desk. There we go. Now some of these I'm probably going to have to like find a subscription someplace and find these in digital form just to reread them and get caught up on the story. Because there's like so much in here that I've forgotten about. It's been like a good 3-4 decades. And you think, well, you find yourself wondering, how does the story hold up after all this time? Like these were 19 looks like 1982 on that one. So yeah, that was 42 years ago. It's like, do the stories hold up? Does the action still hold up? And of course, there's always going to be people mining comic books and IPs from the 80s, trying to mine them for the next big thing on a streaming service. From annual number 3, guest starring the New Mutants. There we go. So that was like a very incomplete run of ROM. Let's see. Next up, a little bit of Transformers I got here. You got like Transformers Universe. Transformers Universe. I don't know why I have 2 issues of this. Oh, I see. One's direct and one is newsstand. That's cool. So I have 1, 2, 3. Number 3 and a 4-issue limited series. I must have number 4 around someplace, probably in another box I haven't come across yet. Let's see. Killer Rabbit says, I have the complete classic Star Wars comic digitally. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, because it would be hard to find them a complete run nowadays. Now without going to eBay and trying to find the complete collection. I have a near complete Star Wars collection from way back in the day. I'm missing a number of issues, so over time, I'm probably going to go back and collect those issues that I'm missing, so I can have a complete run of early Star Wars. The Mylar sleeves just make everything look better. Some of these are in pretty decent shape, considering how old they are. There we go. What do we get? Optimus Prime versus Megatron. Oh, I know. I want to look up to see when these are. Oh, the print is nice and crisp. 1984. I can actually read this without squinting. That's how nice the quality of the text is. All right. Now, that's what I sometimes hear off and on. People my age or maybe a decade older going, when I talk about comic books with them over the years, I always hear somebody say, "Man, if only I had the comics I had when I was a kid." And that's usually how it goes because you get stuff when you're a kid and it's hard to hold on to things when you grow up. Transformers Universe. Oh, this has seen better days. First issue, Marvel 25th anniversary, 1986. Air Raid. Beachcomber. Look at these. Yeah. In the bag it goes. Oh, and the chat joining us. Hello, Gap After Dark. Very cool. Yeah, that you drop by. Yeah, anybody in the chat, if you're looking out there, hello. Thanks for checking my streams out. This is another nostalgia-driven stream where I go back to comic books of my youth, kind of bagging and chatting about them. Anybody out there, feel free to chat about the comic books you had when you were growing up. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm surprised they're in relatively decent shape considering some of these are 40 years old or older. Like for the longest time, I was pulling these out of the poly bags. I had them stored in long boxes, short boxes, and then the poly bags, of course. Let me see if I can find a old poly bag here. Yeah. See, that's an old bag. It's not as clear as it was. I know I've got a really trashed out bag and board that is starting to go yellow. Yeah, you can I don't know if you can really tell, but when they get old, when they're like 30, 40 years old, the bag starts turning. That's when you have to get them out of the bags long before it hits that point. The colors still pop, Gap says. Yeah, yeah. I'm taking slowly taking my books, the ones that I really care about. I'm taking them out of poly bags and putting them in brand new shiny mylar bags. So anything in a mylar bag pops, and like it's instantly better. All right. I didn't really collect Transformers books. I know I have like 4 of a 4-issue mini-series for Transformers. I have these Transformer Universe books. But beyond that, I didn't get into Transformers all that much. Concluding a 4-part guide to all the Autobots and Decepticons. Bonus, all the new Transformers from the hit movie included in this issue. This was, again, 1987. I'm surprised that the paper is still in relatively good shape. So he gets a... Oh, there we go. Now, at the start of the stream, I was kind of recapping some of the books from a previous live stream that I was going over. All the ones from early childhood, and these are, I think, moving into my like 10 years old and after. All right. These were some of the books I was really enjoying. Shogun Warriors. Not a complete run, but I at least have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've missed issues 6 and 7. There's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then it jumps to 17, and that's where it ends. Yeah. Being a kid, I never did get comic books consistently. I would only get them anytime I went with my parents to the grocery store, and they would spring for me to get a couple of comic books. Shogun Warriors. Okay. Where are they? Oh, yeah, there they are. They are within reach. Okay. Having to reach up here to a shelf on my desk. Here we go. Ew. Shogun Warriors. Let's see. This guy is right here. This guy. I don't know where this guy is. This guy is somewhere. So, yeah. That's it. That's all the movement that these guys had. Their arms move up and down. But that was all the movement the legs did. So, yeah. Then, of course, I have the bigger version of this guy. Huge figure. Like, I don't know, 22 inches, 24 inches. I'm going to set them aside. So he can go there. He can go there because I don't want to stand up and reach over everything again. Yes. Shogun. Thank you. And when were these? 1978. Or, no. Reading this little part here, there's multiple dates. There's like 1978, then 1979, So I'm guessing it has to deal with licensing of the toys, and then going from the toys to the comic books. That's probably why there's different dates on that. But again, putting it in a Mylar sleeve instantly makes everything look better. Oh, and Happy New Year's. Or soon to be New Year's. Oh, right on. You got to go to sleep. Like your streams brings back cool memories. Well, cool. Thank you. Thank you for stopping by and saying hello. Just catch it on a replay. Thanks for checking it out. Glad you dig them. Very cool. Let's see. So yeah, this was the stuff I was into, and all my friends at the time were into uh, Superman, Batman, and all that jazz. All those superheroes. I was like, oh yeah, those are nice, but hey, look, giant robots fighting giant monsters. And they're like, huh? What? It's not Superman. Don't care. It looks weird. Is that some of that Japanese stuff? All right. There we go. Some of these sleeves are kind of hard to get a grip on. Again, I'm going to have to look for these digitally and reread the stories to see how well they hold up. Menace of the Mech Monster. This is where looks like one of them splits apart into different vehicles. There we go. Grab another stack of sleeves here. Into the Lair of Demons. The shininess is like freaking out my camera. There we go. Look at that. Now that gives you an idea of just how big the robots were. He's picking up a battleship, trying to rescue it from a monster there. Like, I wonder who came first. Was it Shogun Warriors, then Transformers? I guess it was, because these guys were 78 and Transformers were 80s. Set that aside. There we go. Five Heads of Doom. Shogun Warriors, Invincible Guardians of World Freedom. Number 10, 40 cents. Imagine going to a comic book store and getting a brand new book hot off the press for 40 cents cover price. That's neat. Meteor. Woof. Yeah, they might have their work cut out for them there. So, and that goes. Yeah, these books, I have read them cover to cover. Did not treat them with any care, really. But when you're a kid, you don't care. You just want to enjoy them. Now it's in. Oh, there's my camera. Look at that. There we go. The colors pop. All right. These are technically not the correct size of bags and boards for these guys, but since I have a broad collection and they're all different sizes, I kind of went with a bag and board that was kind of universal. Oh, what's this? I belong to Marvel Unlimited on and off. Not too bad of a service to see back issues digitally. That's cool. Yeah, I know there's at least 2 services like that. Let's see. I think one of them shut down. I forget what it was. Comixology or something. Something that was associated with Amazon, and then all of a sudden the service shut down. So, oh well. Look at that. So that's all my Shogun Warriors. Okay. Oh, here we go. Next big thing I got into as a kid, the Micronauts. See, this is a king size annual. I got the first issue. There's the second issue. Third issue. Somewhere, I still have a lot of the Micronauts action figures and toys. That may be an upcoming nostalgia toy live stream. And then I that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it skips to 13, then 14, 15, and then a big skip from 15 to 57. And then what this guy is Micronauts #1 from Image Comics. Not old, but I'm going to include it with these. Let's see, Micronauts #1 by Image. That came out in 2002. So this is almost a 22-year-old book. Whereas these guys, let me see here. 1978. So you can kind of see what the artwork looked like 1978. And those crazy, crazy ads. King size annual. The Micronauts. They came from inner space. There we go. Oh, this is it. This is where the bags and boards being slightly oversized help, because that kind of fits in nicely. That was a snug fit. Set him aside. From a war-torn microverse, they fled to Earth. Now, I never actually saw the last Ant-Man movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, but they went down to the uh, I don't know, the microverse. I thought that would have been a good opportunity to introduce the Micronauts, but given the state that the MCU is in, I wouldn't want them to introduce the Micronauts. They'd only mess it up. And it's pretty bad, the sad state of things as they are right now, the way MCU is. When you think about all their old properties from the late 70s and early 80s, like these, and you find yourself thinking, no, I don't want them adapted. I don't want to see them on the big screen. Plus, going by memory, after like reading these and rereading them, and then keeping up with the stories over the years, you'd need like 4 or 5 movies just to tell the story of the Micronauts. Yeah, some of these are in better shape than others. This one is not in too good of a shape, but that's part of the reason why I'm putting them all in bags right now to kind of preserve them. All right. Number 57. This came out in 1984. It went from 79 to 1984. And I'm going to keep this one with them since it is Micronauts image from 21, almost 22 years ago. There we go. All right. Now, let's see. Uh, then I went from Shogun Warriors, ROM, Micronauts. Then I started getting into the superhero stuff. This is Fantastic Four, number 206. Again, not anywhere near complete run because I've got massive gaps in these. I would just get them like once in a blue moon. Like 206. 206 was 1979. The death of the Fantastic Four. Dealing with the Skrulls. So this one goes in. Comic book from my childhood. And there it goes. Yeah, this is the point where I was starting to get into superheroes more. I think back then, this is 1980. I think back then I was getting more into Marvel than I was DC. There we go. Some of these covers are kind of crazy. Oh, Infinity War crossover. All right, Infinity War crossover. That was 1992. Okay, we're in the 90s now. This is issue 366, 368. This all white cover. Number 371. Kind of hard to see, but it is embossed. It is December of 1992. I honestly don't know why I grabbed this unless it was just, oh, look, shiny, new, different, embossed. Much like, this issue number 375. This is a crazy prismatic hologram cover. Open it up. We've got, and we have Doctor Strange, we have Ghost Rider, we have Spider-Man and the Hulk and Wolverine. I actually don't know anything about this. So like I've got these and I don't know anything about them. It's like I've probably read them at one time, but I can't remember where I got these from. They might have been in a trading, like trading one issue for another issue or a set of issues, and I just got these in a long box or something from a friend. It's like you kind of forget about where you get a lot of the comic books, whether they're trades or you start saving up your allowance and going to comic book stores. Oh yeah, like this really helps. The Fantastic Four, the white issue. Fantastic Four versus the Fantastic Four. I have no idea why I have two of these issues. Suddenly, The Secret Defenders. It looks like Hulk, Spider-Man, Wolverine, Ghost Rider. Then Super Spiffy. This was, when was this? (1993), April of 1993. Yep, this was right in the middle. Might have been near the tail end of the gimmick cover craze that everybody was doing at the time. Marvel was doing it, Image was doing it, Valiant was doing it. Yeah. You couldn't walk down an aisle at your local comic book store without seeing gimmick covers galore. But that was the 90s. I remember Valiant books. They were silly about their chromium covers. Like every book they had a chromium cover or a wraparound chromium cover, which was kind of neat, but it's just everything they did was boom, there it is, wraparound. All right. So I'm rushing through these to get them out of the way. Then I'm going to something that is really neat. There we go. Grab another stack of boards here. All right, here we go. These are kind of neat. Marvel Universe Deluxe Edition, the official handbook of the Marvel Universe. This is, let me squint at the fine print. Volume 2, Number 1, August of 1985. So Marvel Universe 1, 2. There's 1, 2. Do they do anything like? Hang on a second. No, they don't do that. Oh, I see what they're doing. If I can carefully. There it is. Yeah, a wraparound cover, front and back. Give you an idea of what these do. They are pretty much a who's who of the Marvel Universe. Andromeda. Asgardians. That's cool. Killer Rabbit from Space says, like Superman and Batman, but I've always preferred the Marvel heroes because almost all of them were not perfect people. Yeah, yeah. They were more relatable, like Peter Parker, Spider-Man. There was just something about him that you could relate to. They weren't perfect, they were flawed. They had to deal with their normal everyday routine and challenges and whatnot. I was digging them. And then let's see, at some point in 91 or 92, Image hit, and then everybody was like, "Oh, look at Image! Image is great. It's the best thing ever." And I started reading Valiant books, and I was getting excited about Valiant books because they had relaunched all the Gold Key era superheroes like Solar, Man of the Atom, Magnus, Robot Fighter, Exo, Man of War. They had all those characters, and I was digging the Valiant Comics universe. I actually prefer it to Image. There's Doctor Doom and Daredevil, Doc Oct, Doc Octopus. Let me see who did. Okay, John Byrne, cover penciler. Jim Shooter, editor in chief. Oh yes, Jim Shooter, who was behind Valiant in the early '90s. He was at Marvel first. Back. Doctor Strange. Dreadnought. Electro. Electra. Enchantress. Eternals. Oh, hang on. This is the Eternals. How they looked in the comic books, not how they were in that Eternals movie. Falcon, aka Captain Falcon America, or whatever the character is right now in the Disney streaming TV show, which I've never seen an episode of. There we go. Gardner to the Hulk. That's cool. Human Torch to Kazar. When you think about the sheer number of characters that are in the Marvel Comics universe, there's so much untapped stories that could be adapted to the big screen or even to the small screen. It's just the MCU right now. I wouldn't want them to touch them. Set that aside. Number 10, number 11. Heck, can't pick that up. There it is. And I'm pretty sure there's more to it beyond what is that, issue 11, because this one goes from Richard Rider to Sidewinder. So there's probably 12, 13, and 14, I'm guessing. Sasquatch. Sandman. Very cool. All right. There we go. Yes. All right. I remember getting into Iron Man or enjoying Iron Man. Again, not a complete run here. I was getting them very sporadically. This is number 170, 171, and for some reason I have 2 issues of 171. $217. These are all the different variations of his armor over the years. $222. $236. Then $241. Look at this cover. Look at that. And the grip of the Mandarin. The one Iron Man villain that we will never get, or probably never get, because we'll never get a decent version of the Mandarin. Let's see. Let me look at the tiny print here to see when this was. Looks like 1989 for that one. And this one here, I can't tell. 1983, Volume 1, number 170. So I was kind of enjoying the few Iron Man books I had as a kid. These here, I think I've got a few more around someplace. I've kind of got them scattered in one long box or another. Also moved more than a few times over the years, so I was having to keep them all stored in one place or another. Yep. This one, Captain America, Tony Stark, and oh yes, Firebrand. That's cool. Iron Man versus Iron Man, 192. Yeah, it wasn't until I started actually working in a comic book store that I was able to get uh, more and more issues, whether they were back issues or current issues, or check out some of the independent uh, companies and some of the independent titles that were out there at the time. There were a number of, seemed like everything, oddly enough, just exploded from 89, 90, And then 91, 92, 93. Everything was just going like crazy. An all out assault on Stark Enterprises. Grab another stack of bags and boards here. Grappling with the gray gargoyle. There we go. I think it was once I got into the X-Men, I started collecting near complete runs of older X-Men and older X titles. Certainly collected more and more Wolverine. Let's see. What are these? Oh, yes. All right, got some oddballs here and then some fun books. All right. This is an odd one. DC Firestorm, the Nuclear Man. Number 53, 1986. I may save him for a poly bag. I don't think I'll keep him for a Mylar bag. Back to Marvel. The Man Called Nova. Now this one and this one I actually read a number of times back to back. I started enjoying Nova. Then I was reading more about the character. And I thought, well, that's pretty neat. The Man Called Nova, number 9, 30-cent cover price. 1977. All right, just because that's an older book that I kind of remembered enjoying reading multiple times, that's going to get a Mylar bag. As well as issue 25, 40 cents. He's 1979. All right. So Nova, going by memory, I want to say they were, what were they supposed to be? The equivalent of the Green Lantern Corps for DC. They kind of teased them a couple of times in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, but they never actually come out with the actual Nova character. Oh, and the chat, I see sometimes miss physical comics, but I exclusively read the classic issues, so digital is the best way to go for that. Yeah. That's completely understandable. Plus, nowadays, I'm going to set him aside. There it goes. All right, this one I'm wanting to put in a Mylar bag. Special Collector's Edition Wolverine number 1, brought to you by Charleston Chew. Going by memory, this is like get 10 Charleston Chew wrappers or some such thing and send them in, and they would send you this issue. What was this? This says 1991 here. Of course, we've got Wolverine, then the classic brown and yellow costume. We got what looks like Jubilee from the X-Men. Wolverine and Give Me a Break. Yep, Jubilee. Isn't it crazy that you could like take 10 wrappers of a candy bar and send them away for a comic book? Oh, I see. Look at this. It's a flip book. Okay. Spider-Man #1. Okay, so one cover, we got Spider-Man. Flip it over, we got Wolverine. So that's neat. You can't touch the eel. All right, we have Tony Isabella doing the writing. Alan Cooperberg, the artist. Rick Parker, the letterer. Janice Cohen Parker, the colorist. Glenn Herdling, the editor. Tom DeFalco, the editor-in-chief. And if I flip back over this way, it's probably going to say the same thing, whatever it is. Okay, well, they've only got it on one side. I guess Spider-Man was more popular than Wolverine at the time. In the very center, we've got this here. Look at that. Charleston Chew Collector's Edition Comic Book Contest Answer Card. Okay, so you would fill that out, send it back to them. Winners are drawn at random to be eligible to win. All questions must be answered correctly. All right, that's neat. I have absolutely no idea what you would win here. Anyway, that is really neat, and that is in pretty good condition. So it's getting the Mylar treatment. I'll put Spider-Man out first because I quite enjoyed Spider-Man more than Wolverine. All right, now some old books that were just hilarious to read. Sergio Aragona's Gru the Wanderer. In case anybody out there don't know, Gru was kind of like a comic spoof of Conan the Barbarian. And Sergio Aragonas, the creator, writer, had a very unique art style. This was, says July 1985, Gru the Wanderer, #5, 75 cents, Epic Comics. So this is Marvel, the Epic imprint, I guess. Give you an idea what the art looks like. Volume 2, #5. By Sergio Aragonas. Lettering Stan Sakai. Color by Tom Luth. Mark Evanier. Dialogus. But It was like the comic adventures of a Conan the Barbarian spoof. He would just travel around, get into one mishap or another. And instead of one great big barbarian sword, he had two little katanas. And if I remember right, the character was kind of stupid, kind of an idiot, but he was like a idiot savant when it came to fighting. Because when he would show up, people would freak out like, "Oh no, we got to run away! It's Gru," and he would like take out a whole army by himself. He could fight all day long, and they would get tired of him and just stop fighting until he stopped fighting or some such thing. Yeah, Conan the Barbarian spoof. Really funny, kind of humorous. He would just go from one adventure to the next. Again, an incomplete run because I was getting these books whenever I could get them. Give you an idea of the cover art here. Gives you an idea of the sense of humor you would find in these books as well. And I see more people lurking out there. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for checking out my live stream. Feel free to stop in, say hi. Feel free to talk about your own comic books you read as a kid growing up. Did you have any of your favorite books? Feel free to comment later on. Number 66. 1990. Okay, this is a little bit newer. The paper's held up a lot better. Ah, aha, cool. Hello, Raquel. Hi, y'all, just lurking here. Cool. Well, feel free to hang out a bit. All I'm doing is just chatting about comic books I grew up with. This is another of my nostalgia type live streams where I talk about things that make me nostalgic for my childhood, whether they be TV shows or arcades or malls, hanging out with friends, that sort of thing. Uh, I've done a number of live streams in the past where I have uh, bagged comic books while chatting about them. This one is where I've been going over comic books from my childhood. This was the 100th issue of Gru the Wanderer, 1993. I don't know how else you describe this. Spoof of Conan, the level of humor you would find in like Mad Magazine, that sort of thing. That's about where this is. Oh, okay. Gru the Wanderer, number one, 1985. And then I remember when Image released, or when Sergio Aragonés joined up with Image to relaunch Gru the Wanderer. This is 1994, Image Comics. So I pretty much more of the same. Of course, you got letters to the editor. You have all the other stuff from Image. But yeah, this is where I was picking up more books at the time. There's issue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. So yeah, enjoying the older grooves, and then along came Image Books creating new groove series, a new groove series. All right. So that goes there. Yeah, that was pretty much the level of humor for this particular book. Mad Magazine, that sort of thing. The crazy adventures that Gru would find themselves into. Oh, this is it. Gru starts fighting, and since he's pretty much unbeatable, everyone starts running away in terror. Like he's not a very quick character, but he's like a idiot savant when it comes to fighting. All right. A few more bags and boards here. There we go. All right. What do I have here? I have, oh, yes. These aren't particularly old, but this one in particular, I was wanting to put in a new bag and board because this is the Incredible Hulk 2099 or 2099 Unlimited. This is actually signed by somebody important. I can't remember who, so I'm going to pop it out of this old bag and have a look at it. It kind of gives you an idea of there's the old bag and board, and of course, the new bag and board. Yeah, this one's like 30 years old. This is brand spanking new, so it goes right into the trash. All right. I actually remember getting this signed. The fellow's name looks like Dwayne Turner. Let me carefully open them up. This was back when the Marvel 2099 universe hit. Writer Evan Skolnick, penciler Chris Wozniak, inker Chris Ivy. Letterer, Steve Outro. Colorist, Marie Severin. Editor, Joey Cavalieri. And Tom DeFalco. Okay. So those were the ones that were behind this particular book. So I have no idea why this particular individual signed it. I remember he was at a booth signing some of these 2099 books that Marvel was putting out, and I can't remember why. Why was that significant? I really don't know. That's kind of odd. I'm going to have to look that up and see why he signed this particular book. It looks like Spider-Man 2099 and the Hulk 2099. Back when this first came out, I can't say if the 2099 universe is still going on or if they wrapped it up. Haven't a clue. Set that aside there. All right. I'm going to put this guy with my ROM collection of books. This is Free Comic Book Day, ROM number 0, IDW. Oh, 2016. First printing, Hasbro. All right. That's right. I remember IDW had a lot of properties that they were doing some neat stuff with. This doesn't look like a bad book, actually. I may have to look into IDW and see what they were doing. That's a different take on ROM Space Knight. Transformers. That's right. Oh, Transformers, Micronauts. Yeah, back 7 or 8 years ago, they were doing a lot. All right. So he's going to get a Mylar bag right there. Super spiffy. All right. Last book of the evening. 80-page giant Detective Comics, number 598, March of 1989. Blind Justice, part 1 of 3. Sam Hamm, the writer. Let's go ahead and open it up here. Dennis Cohen, penciler. Dick Giordano with Frank McLaughlin for the inkers. Todd Klein, the letterer. Adrian Roy, the colorist. Daniel Raspler, the assistant editor, and Denise O'Neill, editor. Dennis or Denise, whatever. Looks like Batman being Batman. I don't know where I got this book from. It might have been in a long box of trades. Or just trading one book for another, or one short box for another with some friends. And I was going like, oh, looking through their books and going, oh, what is this? It's a Batman book. Okay, I'll take it. All right. And that is that. That pretty much wraps it up for the evening, everyone. Thank you all for joining me tonight. Let me see. I can go ahead and do this and make. There we go. Yes, please like, share, and subscribe. I do appreciate it. Every little bit helps here and there. Thank you. All right. Hope you all enjoyed the stream. That was comic books from my youth. Another nostalgia-driven stream where I've gone and chatted about books from here and there over the years. Shogun Warriors, a few Marvel books here and there, a few DC here and there. Some of the older ones like Micronauts, Shogun Warriors. I've done past bag and chat streams, so you can always go back and check out some of my older live streams where I've done that. Oh, yes, yes. Very cool. Oh, glad you like it. I'll probably do more once I find more topics that I can go down memory lane and touch on the nostalgia things. No shortage of nostalgia because we all look back to our childhoods and find something that we enjoyed from way back when. And since I've been rambling on here almost 2 hours, I'm going to go ahead and call it quits for tonight. Oh, yes. Good night. Have a pleasant tomorrow. Well, thank you. Thank you all for joining me tonight. Let's see. I've had Killer Rabbit from Space right off the bat. Gap After Dark came in and hung out for a spell. Let's see. Raquel was lurking. You may still be lurking, aren't you? Yes, you are. Thanks for joining me and my chat. Anybody out there lurking, feel free to like, subscribe, check out more of my content. I always do neat stuff like this on my live streams. If you have any comic books from your childhood you want to share, feel free to drop a comment. What did you read when you were a kid growing up? DC, Marvel, something obscure? Drop a comment. Let me know. All right. So with that, I'm going to call it quits. Thank you all for joining me, hanging out here. Hope it wasn't too much of a bore for you. Lurk, lurk, lurk. Yeah. But anyway, this has been fun. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Catching some old books you might have never seen before. I kind of started off the stream kind of recapping some of my other comic book bag and chats from previous live streams. Some of the really old books from like Gold Key and Whitman and some old Looney Tunes and Disney. Yeah, I had some really old books when I was a kid, really young. Then didn't get into the superhero stuff until the late 80s. But I'm going to end it with that. Until next time, everyone, go check out something you enjoy reading, watching, or what have you, because life is too short for bad entertainment. Until next time, everyone, see ya.